Starting today, our company is now Meta.
Well, we've been talking a lot about the Metaverse and what
there could possibly be in a Metaverse.
We're speaking through the Metaverse.
a Metaverse.
There's the Metaverse.
Metaverse.
The Metaverse.
The Metaverse, this word is everywhere. I feel like every time I go on the internet, I hear Metaverse this or virtual reality that.
It's gonna happen.
Fears about the Metaverse.
Mark, what do you got? Mark, why? Mark?
It's the new internet. It's supposed to be the game changer.
Anything you do in real life can be done in this new Metaverse.
Welcome to the future of the internet.
The more I went down this rabbit hole, the more I realized that architects are going to be on the forefront of this Metaverse.
So I would say join the Metaverse. Let's create the Metaverse.
This is Patrick Schumacher. He's the principal architect at Zaha Hadid Architects, one of the biggest architecture firms in the world. And the message is clear. Metaverse is going to be the next big playground for architects. But there's a slight catch. Who we consider as architects is probably going to change as this new world comes to life.
And I'll be honest, when I first heard about this, I was shocked.
What kind of game is that?
The concept of Metaverse is not something new, but it has recently come into the limelight because of this guy.
Thank you for having me here today, and I'm ready to take your questions.
Facebook, which is now called Meta, is gearing towards a Metaverse, and it has created a lot of buzz. People are hailing it as the Internet 2.0. But the fact is that the concept of a Metaverse was conceived long back. In fact, Facebook started working on this project in 2014. It bought the company Oculus, a company that manufactures virtual reality glasses, for $2 million. The company knew that this is going to be the next frontier. But the concept of Metaverse was developed back in 1992 by an American author called Neil Stephenson. In 1992, he published this book called Snow Crash. It is a book that follows the journey of this pizza delivery driver who works for the mafia and is also a hacker, and he gets immersed in a computer-generated universe. It sounds a little silly when I say it like that, but so will the story of a young orphan girl who enjoys her brother's death, rises to power, sleeps with her nephew, burns a city to the ground, and gets killed by her lover. But that is exactly what Game of Thrones is.
Why, hello, Carl Drogo. Would you like to see my dragons?
Anyway, this book was where the word Metaverse was used for the first time. And we don't only come across the concept of a Metaverse, but also the concept of avatars and cryptocurrency. Stephenson was even hired by a company called Magic Leap in 2014 to help build the Metaverse. But what everybody who has ever read this novel keeps forgetting is that this is actually a dystopian novel and not a utopian one. And frankly, it's not just this novel, from Snow Crash to The Matrix to Ready Player One. Each time we have depicted the concept of a metaverse, it has been because the world people live in currently was not good enough or was in complete turmoil. Is that where we are headed by ignoring the world we currently have and building an artificial one? The answer actually lies in how we create this world and what are the intentions of the people who are trying to build it. We actually did something similar with the internet as well.
Today, we're going to be showing our friends Andrew and Lisa the basics of the internet, and we thought you might want to come along.
The internet as we know it was developed back in 1983. For most of its early years, it gained popularity quite slowly. But all of that changed with the advent of personal computers and, most importantly, smartphones. The internet exploded into something amazing and terrifying. The internet itself is not bad, it's a brilliant piece of technology, but it's about how we use it. The internet has given rise to social media and has opened new frontiers for work and education. At the same time, social media has been geared in a way that it has the potential to make us more anxious and depressed. What internet has done is that it has connected us, but what we do with that connection is on us. The metaverse will have a similar effect. There is a lot to discuss on this topic and maybe we'll go into it some other time. But for now, let's come back to how a new world with the metaverse will look like. Keeping these extra saturated visuals of Facebook aside, we have already started to explore the concept of virtual reality and pairing it with our world. In 2003, a game was launched called Second Life, which was also inspired by the world of Snow Crash. In this virtual world that promises users a second life, users can create an avatar of their own and meet new people, shop, and participate in social activities. From then on, we've just created more and more immersive games. In 2020, rap star Travis Scott performed 5 virtual concerts at Fortnite, which Epic Games claims was attended by 27.7 million players. So what actually started as a game now became a virtual concert venue which was attended by millions of people around the world. This is exactly the kind of connectivity that the metaverse can provide for us. Now let's come to the main topic of our video. The people who will build the metaverse and everything that will come to life once you wear the VR headsets. The architects. In this new world, the possibilities are endless. Maybe you create the world like Ariadne did in the movie Inception, or you can create a mirror dimension like in Doctor Strange. The rules of reality, including gravity, will not be at play in the metaverse. And so what constitutes a building or urban design will probably change. And with that, who we call as architects will also change. As architects, we create projects to last 50 years or maybe more. We play with light and shadow, use gravity to work for us instead of against. We have crafted beautiful spaces that go in tandem with the natural world around us. This inherent craft of understanding the context, utilizing the resources, this craft of execution that takes years to master, all of this will not hold much value in the metaverse. The architects of the metaverse will purely work on form, on geometry, on the visuals of a project. Things like building codes, furniture, leaky ceilings. The architects of the metaverse will not need to worry about these things. Also, if you think about it, the really famous architects of the world are actually quite old because it takes quite a while for you to make a name for yourself in this industry where projects take years to build. But in the metaverse, the most well-known and creative of architects might be an 18-year-old school student who has never had a day of conventional architectural education. But I don't think teenagers are going to take over just yet. As architects, building for the metaverse will not require new skills, just a shift in perspective. 3D modeling on computers and creating virtual buildings is something that we have been doing for a long time now. A lot of discussions we have had on this channel have been around these virtual worlds, whether it was the Fluid Concert Hall by Mariana, or the Air Scraper by Claudia and Marek, or even the digital world created by Matthews. But the key difference is till now we made these 3D worlds to serve as a guide to what we'll be doing in the real world. It was a part of the process and not the end game. Another difference will also be how we design our buildings. Maybe we will still need the knowledge of basic anthropometry and create human-centric designs, so the world in the metaverse seems similar to our real world. But maybe there will also be cities inside of this metaverse that will look nothing like our real world, where gravity would not exist. A world where buildings would just be explored as pure art. The primary goal of architecture revolves around giving us shelter and being a facilitator of our day-to-day activities. While a lot of these activities are going to change in the metaverse. As functions of building might change, so will the buildings. And consequently, so will the architects. A possibility is that over the years, we will see a distinction between the title of an architect and a virtual architect. And this might also shift the architectural education as we see it today. In Metaverse, architects not only need to draw architectural drawings, but also need to integrate professional knowledge in multiple fields. The work of architects will now include user interface, content design, character design, even game design. And this will open up the world of architecture to so many more people. A wider range of game designers and programmers may become members of architectural design teams. More people will participate in this process of this new age architectural design. Therefore, in this virtual age, architectural education will need to move beyond just history of architecture and knowing construction techniques and materials. This new age of architects will require a combination of digital media and 3D technology. So, who is an architect and what education do they require? All of these parameters are gonna change in the world to come. But that being said, I don't think this new world is gonna come all at once, and architects as we know them today are not going anywhere for quite some time. I believe this whole decade will function as a transition phase for the metaverse. As more and more people will turn towards VR and AR, we will start seeing offices and museums and movie theaters and many more buildings start coming up. We will start to see a digital twin of the world that we already know. This might also be a new frontier in the field of architectural conservation. Conservation itself is a very debated topic. The metaverse might completely take over and we might preserve buildings inside this digital reality. There have been so many buildings lost to natural or man-made calamities, so many beautiful structures all over the world destroyed by war. With the metaverse, we can build simulated versions of these buildings and open them to the public. Another direction we can take is to use the metaverse to recreate the world where these structures were used and were at their peak. Now you might think I am letting my imagination run wild, but the world around us is already changing. And all of this has been accelerated with the popularity of NFTs. So till now we have heard of artworks being sold as NFTs, but in reality it has actually gone much beyond that. Platforms like Sanyam Space and Decentraland have already started selling virtual parcels of land that people can own and build upon. According to DAP Radar, there were more than 100 million virtual land sales in just a week. And these virtual parcels of land are also inviting architects to build upon them. The future of the profession of architecture is filled with more possibilities than it was ever before. It is also going to face so many new and unseen challenges. One of the biggest one might just be an identity crisis. But I think that is not something new. The architects of the 21st century are not the master builders that they once were. Today, the field of architecture, design and construction has sprouted so many newer fields. There are professions who take care of the services, the plumbing, the budget, the construction. So already there's a great debate as to what it means to be an architect and what scope of work is exclusively ours. But complicated as it is today, I think it'll be nothing compared to what is coming to us. As I said at the start of my video, the stars of this new metaverse will be its architects. But who is an architect or will be in the future? Who knows? The journey from now on will be nothing short of interesting. So let's strap our seatbelts and let's see what comes. Hey yo guys, I hope you liked that video. Now there was actually a lot more that I wanted to pack within this video, from exploitation and inequality that the metaverse can bring to even the different kinds of metaverses being made. There were even discussions about whether such a virtual world, building it, will it be a good thing or is it just a replacement for a sad reality? There was also much more discussion about who exactly has entered the field of being a virtual architect and what all softwares are being used to create this metaverse. So basically there were many nuances and discussions that I had to take out from the final edit of this video. But worry not, I'm including all of that discussions, all of that I had discussed, all of that commentary in a video that is exclusively available to the members of this channel. For those of you who do not know, yes, on this channel I have started channel memberships. To find out more information about it, you can just go next to the subscribe button. You'll find a button called join. If you click on that button, you'll find all the information about channel memberships, different types of channel memberships available. And also once you become a member, you don't get access to just this video, but all the videos that I've made for members till date. Also, it's not just about the content. You being a channel member will help me a long way, help me create much more content that I create right now. So do consider supporting the Blessedarch platform. Anyway, that was it. Do give this video a thumbs up, do share this video, do subscribe to Blessedarch. Also, hit that bell icon so you're notified whenever a new video comes out. I will see you guys soon with more such content. Until then, bye-bye.